this is Brenda Mejia. Let's welcome our friend, Cindy Fernandez-Nixon.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Of course.
So I know you're currently on the second season of an amazing TV show that I'm going to let you introduce because I think it's an amazing role that you're playing. So do you want to share?
It's Manhunt, Deadly Games, and it is the second season. And it is a very interesting story. It's the biggest manhunt in the United States. It's about the bombing at the Olympics in 1996 in Atlanta. So the story follows Richard Jewell, and you get to see, from the series, you get to see his point of view, how his life was impacted. My role specifically in the show, I work for CNN, and we are right at the beginning where we just pretty much throw Richard Jewell right into the news, and we make him a hero without having all the information ready to go. And so I'm part of that team in a TV station.
Well, I love your character, and I love the way that what you portray is a strong female that is very educated and knowledgeable about everything that's going on. And I love that. So please share, how did you prepare for that?
You know, it's interesting that in 1996, right, like with my face, they'll always cast me like as a younger character, but it was interesting because even that reflected what it is to be behind the scenes in the newsroom, where like I was one girl and the rest of the crew was men. So even then, like the way they dressed me was like the way a woman would dress to like demand this respect. So a lot of like how I dressed, how my hair was, how I walked, how I had to be like on top of everything, definitely shows, you know, how you portray that in that time.
Yes, no, absolutely. I have to give you major props for that because you play an amazing role that you brought to life, and you put like your own spin on it, which I love. And I feel like sometimes the audience doesn't get to know that other side of the character because you know, sometimes you get the person that's on film is that person, but in real life they could be the complete opposite. So for you to transform yourself into, I mean,
it's interesting that
what do you
I
think?
have played villains before, and I would like to say I'm not a villain in real life, but it is the most fun character to play because you get to explore a completely different person, and you know, working in an environment like that and working in the entertainment industry, I would say it's easier to correlate than when you're playing someone that's complete opposite of you.
Correct.
But overall, it's always fun to bring characters to life.
I think
it's
that's
always
amazing.
fun.
Now another thing too, you're Dominican?
Yes.
Was your family supportive? I mean, how did this whole career happen?
So I was born in the Dominican Republic, and since I was little, I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but it's not totally viewed as a stable career. And so my parents supported me as long as my homework was done. You know, as long as your schoolwork is done first, and you know, the moment if I dropped my grades, they started pulling me from all these activities. So for me as a kid, I had to learn really early that I had to do what I didn't want to do so that I can get to do what I wanted to do. And that just translated through my whole life.
Which I think is pretty much the generation I think that we grew up in, where we had to earn it. At least that was, you know, the culture that I think we can have relatable. But do you feel that nowadays, do you feel that the generation is probably lacking a bit of discipline, and maybe with the social media, and which is great, but I think there's also the other side. What do you think?
Yes, I think that we're in a generation where everything needs to be instant, right? We want to see we want to get the results right away. And right, and for me, you know, not having social media, you know, there wasn't a thing about being like famous, you know, overnight. You know, you needed to work really hard for years, and like, you know, there wasn't, other than TV, there wasn't the internet for you to get your work out there on your own. So I think that it's great that many artists have the opportunity to put their work out there and you know, help themselves and their talent to be out there, but at the same time, it takes away from the patience that you need to have for anything, not just in this industry.
Is there anything that you have coming up that you would like to promote before we...
Well, right now I would say check out the podcast, because everything else is like, everything is always under wraps until it's announced.
And how do we listen to it?
So if you go any of the podcast platforms, you can check out Now That I Had My Coffee. You can also go on Instagram at Now That I Had My Coffee, or you can find my Instagram, which is Cindy Fernix, so Fernix, shortened for my name. Well, Manhunt Deadly Games right now is on Spectrum, so you could binge the whole season right now. So check it out.
I love it. Let's binge it. Yay!
Hi, my name is Cindy Fernandez-Nixon, and you've just been buzzed.